Polyamory is the concept that you can love more than one person, that you can hold relationships with more than one person, and that this can include sexual relationships in an absolute nutshell. That is. Now, there is this funny thing going on, and it is one of these rare opportunities where I can piss off people on the right and the left in the same moment, which is what I'm going to do next, but hear me out. So, to set the stage, the left argues that polyamory is great because it demolishes the core family, but for some strange reasons they have troubles to argue against capitalism if they hold this position, and it's pretty funny to watch that because they don't understand scrap about capitalism, so they have no idea what the root of this problem is. So, on the other hand, the right wing screams things like degeneracy and rejects this concept because granddaddy did it differently. A popular voice here is Stefan Molyneux, who bashes polyamory every chance given. Enter the stage of the true anarchists. A true anarchist does not care what others think, how the future looks like, and an anarchist will not let his granddaddy dictate the way he lives, especially if the granddaddy is dead since quite a while. So the anarchist will think about concepts and how he can use them. But let's go ahead. Let's investigate the three most important extremes. The reality lays often in between. The classical model of marriage is you select a mate, you marry, you stick with this person until the end of time. Secondly, serial monogamy. You select a mate, find a better option, change these better options. Now the other finds a better option and you are alone, then you find a new option, and so on and so on. But in every relationship there is only one person allowed to have sex with you, for your partner. And thirdly, polyamory. You can do pretty much what you want, with whom you want and when you want. But if we start to use market terms, here the things become hilarious. So let's put the whole population in just three categories. Those who are not available because they are not interested in romantic or sexual relationships, because there are children, asexual, lay in coma, or something like that. Those are not relevant for the market. Then we have the amount of available people. This is in market terms the free market. And then we have those who are not available because they are linked in relationships that can't be terminated, bound in contract. This is. The traditional model has a very limited free market, filled with basically, well, virgins and a handful of widows. Two virgins will then find each other, marry, and move to the not available pool that is somewhere over here. With the serial monogamy, which is pretty much standard in the Western world, there is still this not available group, but the group that is available is bigger. We are not talking about virgins and widows anymore. We have now freshly divorced people in it and happy singles in this pool too. But a lot of them are in a relationship, so they are not available. Although there is, of course, a black market, but let's ignore that for the moment. If all people, on the other hand, would be polyamorous, well, we still would have those who can't, shouldn't, or won't participate, but all others are available. So in market terms, the obligation is pretty much a bilateral monogamy. So you can have me, I can have you, but none of us can have anyone else. Polyamory is completely open. The market is free. You can choose whatever you want, how much you want, for how long you want. It's yours to decide, and every action, a separation included, is voluntarily and not dictated by authority. So in a sense, the traditional method is very much restricted and has a very tiny free market with a large, strictly regulated part. The other extreme, polyamory, is a pretty much completely open market with a way higher degree of voluntary interaction. Isn't that funny? I think it's funny. My point here is that if you try to break all down to the same basic principle, you end up fighting for stuff you don't like in another sense. A lot of leftists want a free market of partner, but a regulated market of goods. And a lot of right-wingers want it the other way around, and that's fine. The moral of this story is that you can be extreme for one absolute freedom in one topic and pretty much against it in another. And that's fine. It's okay. It should illustrate that pretty much nobody can use just one principle and be it as good as it could be in every aspect in his life and end up happy.